Welcome back to the Murdy Creative Co podcast. I'm your host, Colin Murdy, and today's topic is Murdy number 2 Deep Dive. But first, I want to say thank you to everyone who supported the company so far. If you haven't got a chance, go check us out on the web at murdycreative.co. That's MURDY creative.co. Or you can check us out on Facebook and Instagram by searching at murdycreative.co to see the best of our products. Follow us, keep up to date with our daily photos, and be the first one to know about new product launches. You can also use the subscribe button at the bottom of our website to be included in all of our new product announcements. Be sure to check out our laser engraving, personalization options, and exclusive colors on the website, or you can get a blank one on Amazon Prime. All right, so I'm really excited about today. Today we're talking about the Murdy number 2 Refillable Leather Journal, and I realized I haven't done a lot of history about it. I haven't shown the design. I need to do an updated version of how to refill the inside of the journals with not using the old color. So we've got a whole thing today that we're going to be talking about. But first and foremost, I wanted to cover how you refill the journal. And I wanted to give you a good 360-degree view of the journal itself, because that's a really common question and a really common problem. So first things first, the journal itself comes in 4 different sizes. There's obviously our large composition notebook. The one that I'm showing you here is our classic cut. The classic cut's more of the traditional size. We also have the pocket cut, which is what I use myself personally for my day-to-day notes, and I put them in my back pocket. But the Murdy number 2 Refillable Leather Journal Classic Cut is by far our most common one and our best-selling product of all of our journals. It's also my favorite. You can able to slip out the pen via the signature pen hinge holder. This is designed to keep the journal closed and always keep a pen handy. When you actually open the journal up itself, you're able to see that it's bound specifically through the spine, not through a slip cover. Now, this is done on purpose. Books are specifically not designed to be held in place by the soft edge between the page block and the cover itself. That's a weak point in books, and when you create slip covers, that actually puts a lot of stress specifically on that location. Now, there's a couple of ways to solve this, but the easiest and best one is to go right straight through the spine, which is how we do it with our innovative Spar Spine Bar technique. The spine bar itself allows for the book to be really, really solid from a design standpoint. It doesn't going to go anywhere. It's easy to be refilled, though, by just unscrewing it, right? So it's not going to fall out like a slip cover might. It's just going to be able to have that nice, firm attach point that allows the covers to move freely and allows for the insides to be easily accessible. The book also does lay flat. That's a very common question for those who are left-handed and are looking for something that's a little more of a lay flat option. And it uses standardized inserts. The most common ones, of course, are moleskin. But it can use, this particular one can use anything that is 5 1/4 by 8.25 in its size. So there's a lot of great options out there that fit in those parameters. We do have our metric cut, which is designed for A5. The mini cut is smaller, 3.5 by 5.5. And the composition cut is larger at 7.5 by 9.75. So we have a couple of different varieties, and they're all good for different purposes for those of you who like to have a good collection. But anyway, I want to show you guys how to refill the Murdy number 2. The best thing to do is to take a short-stemmed Phillips head screwdriver. It doesn't need to be short-stemmed. I just find that to be the easiest of the options. You're going to want to put the book up on its end, and you're going to want to remove the 3 little screws that tack the book in place. Now, one of the things to note is that these screws that hold it in place are very, very small and very easy to lose. So it's best if you put them down on something like a white sheet of paper or a cloth or on a hard surface next to you so that they don't, just disappear on you. So once you have those unscrewed, remove the pen, and that allows the book to come free out of the cover. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to open up the book all the way, and as you open up the book all the way, that spine will actually fall right out of the cover itself. You can set that aside and then grab your new cover. Now, obviously, you can use whatever brand you want. The one I'm showing you here is my personal favorite, which is the Moleskin Ruled. I think that the quality of the pages, the quality of the binding is just a little bit better, and they last a little bit longer just in general. So I love the Moleskin brand, but obviously it can work with anything that's like this. Hardcover works best for this binding purpose, although you can use soft cover. It just doesn't work quite as well. It's not quite as easy. What you're going to want to do then is you're going to want to open up the spine of the book. You're going to want to slip that steel bar back down into the spine itself. You're just going to want to kind of center it as best you can, and then you're going to want to gently close the book. Now, you may notice a slight bulge along the side there. That's not a problem. That'll actually relax over time. But what you're going to then do is you're going to just make sure that the spine is centered along the spine itself. That shouldn't be a problem. And then you're going to want to just feel with your fingernail and you should be able to feel where the holes in the spine are. And then once you feel them, you can just take the pen that it comes with and just flicking it out. You can find and you can just stab right through the spine in those 3 spots. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take the cover again and you're going to want to line those back up. And it may take a second to find it. I like to start with the middle screw. And then once you find that middle screw, you're going to want to leaving the pen out. You're going to want to start to work your way down. And you're going to want to put a little bit of pressure on the spine itself. Now, what's going to end up happening is if you get it started, you'll be able to feel it give a little bit. The cover itself is going to have, specifically, is going to have a little bit of work to get it in, but that's mostly because it's got to work through the cover vinyl, right? The vinyl that makes up the cover of the book itself functions a little bit like Loctite. It's obviously not impossible to work with. You're going to want to line up one of or 2 of the other edges. You can start with either edge. It does not matter. And then you're going to want to work it back in again. And it may take a second for the threads to catch, but once they catch, you'll be able to screw it back in. I like to screw it down so that all of the cross beams of the Phillips head are aligned. It's just a personal preference thing. Obviously, it can be however you want, and it doesn't matter how they're specifically aligned that way. But once you get them all aligned and all specifically back in place, you're going to want to make sure to screw them all down so that the machine screw head is below the surface of the leather. Now, what that matters is that when you put the book back on a desk, it won't have any way to scratch the desk itself. The leather allows for the recessed nature of the screws to not scratch the surface because the leather provides a surface. So that actually is how you can refill the Murdy No. 2. It's actually pretty easy. It takes just a minute or 2, and it's got a wide variety of options. Now, all of our Murdy No. 2 leather refillable journals have that same style of spine bar, same technique. The only difference is that the mini cut only has 2 holes rather than 3 because it's just smaller. It doesn't need the 3 holes. So that's the thing, the way to refill it. It's actually quite simple, all things said and done. But it is very permanent unless you remove it. So it's not going to fall out. There's no way for it to fall out. And particularly with that leather and the vinyl leather covers acting like Loctite, those screws aren't going to come unthreaded on their own. And that specific color that I was using is the Onyx color, which is our premium leather. It's maintenance-free. It's waterproof. It's excellent. I love that one so much. But that's how you refill it. That's the basic start. Now, you can also see that the design itself is relatively thin, and people ask all the time, is there a way to put things in the pocket? In the back of the moleskin book, the hardcover itself, it does have a secret little pocket in the back cover that you can slide business cards, loose sheets of paper, things like that in. So it's very simple. If you are one who's going to likely use a lot of loose paper, one thing that you can do is you can buy the metric cut. The metric cut is 5.75 by 8.25 rather than 5.25 by 8.25. That extra width allows for a 5.5-inch sheet of folded piece of paper, for like printer paper, to be slid into the cover and helps keep it tight. So it's an excellent option for those who want to have loose paper reliably used. The other option would be our travel cut folio. That's a better option perhaps for something that's going to be dealing with a lot of loose papers. The journal itself, though, is designed to be written in as a journal, as a single solid object. That's really its purpose. And each of our main product lines, binders, journals, and folios, all have kind of a specific target use in mind, and that's where they fit best. Now, the number 2 itself is actually the evolution of a product. It was not the first edition. The first version that we launched was back in fall of 2018, and it was far more like the Murdy No. 1 binder in its design. It was a single sheet of leather that went around, and it had posts that went through it. It had 4 posts, and it specifically was designed to be used a 3-hole punch to put it together. Now, that design was live for about 2 months before we recalled it, and we ended up launching the revision after we went back to the drawing board. And the main reason why is because you lose about 1.25 inches into the spine of the post binding. Now, on a page that's 8.5 inches wide, that's not a big problem. But when the page is only 5.5 inches wide, it becomes a big problem. You lose 1/4 or so of the page. Plus, you needed to hold the book open while you were writing in it to use it. And it just didn't really fit very well. So we discontinued that design, went back to the drawing board, and this one is so much better. Another thing to note that is a big advantage of the design, and one of the key reasons why it's designed this way, is that there's no stitching. There's nothing to fall apart. There's nothing to break in the design. The design itself is very, very, very solid. The first thing that always wears out on journals in general is either the glue that seals the edges or the stitching that goes around the edges. Both of those things fall apart because of the natural world and the realities of nature. But this doesn't have any of that. It's one solid piece of leather. The tab locking design that holds the pen notches together is actually reinforced by the pen itself. The pen provides upwards pressure, which keeps that leather tab locked in place. So overall, the design, there's just nothing to break on it at all. And that's why I love it so much. Now, as a journal goes, it's very flexible. We got a lot of different sizes. It's got a lot of different insert options. Moleskine makes a calendar. Moleskine has grid. It's got watercolor versions. Moleskine makes blank ones. Anything you could really look for as far as that goes, I'm pretty sure the Moleskine brand makes it. You don't have to go with Moleskine. They're a little on the pricier side. Our standard insert is normally something like a Piccadilly or an alternative similar version. Those are all great as well. Amazon Basics has a version. I don't love their insert, but it works very well for our purposes. It's the right size. I just don't think that their binding is quite as good as Moleskine goes. But yeah, it's got a great variety, and it allows for a lot of customization. We do offer custom logo engravings and things like that, custom name engravings on our website. So if you're someone who wants to make it a little extra special and help prevent intentional or accidental theft, personalizing it is a great option, mostly because it's hard to accidentally say that I didn't see the name, or if it's intentionally stolen, it's hard to resell it. So that's a nice little feature of the Murdy No. 2 journals and the engraving options that they have available for them. We also have pre-engraving options available for those who want a really nice full cover, custom, or not custom, pre-made version of an engraving. So if you want to check those out, those are on our website as well. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to check back in next Tuesday for our next topic. And don't forget to check that subscribe button below to be sure to get the latest podcast right away. Also hit that alert notification so you guys can get notified when we launch new podcasts. It does help. We're doing our best to be on top of it Tuesdays and Thursdays, but if not, stay tuned. If you have any questions or concerns about your leather binder, journal, folio, mask, Everbook, anything at all that we sell, feel free to contact us on the main page of our website at murdycreative.co, or you can contact us via Instagram and Facebook. You can text, call, direct message, all the usuals. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. We do appreciate your patience. Instagram and Facebook are some of the slowest ways to get a hold of us. We get a ton of messages that way. They don't integrate very well with our customer service software yet, so we have to kind of go through them manually, and they aren't sorted. So if you send an email to sales, S-A-L-E-S, at murdycreative.co, it's one of the best ways to get kind of a relatively quick response. The other thing is if you have a relatively short question or you want to just talk to someone on the phone, you can text us or call us at 414-434-9001. That's our phone number. Our cell phone hours are 9 in the morning to 5:30 p.m. at night, Central Standard Time, and Monday through Fridays. So we're here to help. We want to help. We want to answer questions, and definitely that's the best way to get a hold of us. If you think we deserve it, a good review can go a long way to help us grow our new community. Both a review on the podcast itself, whatever app you're listening on, or a review on the product. Both of those go a long way. If you want to leave a review on the product, you can go to murdycreative.co/reviews. There's a button there that you can click on that says leave us a good review. It'll take you to the page. You can also read all of our amazing reviews on that page as well. If you do want to write a review, it's going to take you to facebook.com. facebook.com/murdycreative.co/reviews. You can also type murdycreative.co into the top bar on Facebook and then go to the reviews tab on the left. It's going to say, do you recommend the Murdy Creative Company? Click yes, and then you can write your review. We use Facebook mostly because a lot of people have it, and it's a great third-party software where you know that we're not just making them up. So you can definitely do that there. It really does mean a lot to us. We read them all. We love them all. Most of the time we print them out and put them on our wall. So we've got a lot of lovers of the reviews, and definitely they're read. If you have troubles with your journal, you want any help whatsoever, on that same page, there's a way to contact us. We want to make sure you guys are happy. We want to take good care of you. So that's an important part for us of the value that we provide is that excellent customer service. So don't hesitate to reach out. You want to share the company or the podcast in general with your friends. You can go to murdycreative.co, and at the top, there's a login button. If you click login, it's going to ask you for an email and a password. That's all you need to set it up. Once you have those two pieces of information in there, you're able to go to the bottom left-hand side. There's a button that says rewards. Once you're signed up and logged in, you're able to get 5% back on any purchase you make on the website, and there's a shareable link in the bottom corner of that. When you share that link, people get $5 to use in their first purchase, and you get $5 when they use that. So if you want to share the company, word of mouth is the best form of advertising, and that really does help, especially around the holidays when people are trying to figure out what to get you or what to get their other loved ones. So share the company, please. It really does go a long way for us. If you have any podcast topics you want to hear more about, send them my way. It's always hard to come up with topics, so I really appreciate the suggestions. You can leave it in the comments below. You can send us an email. All of those great things. I want to give you guys what you're looking for, so just ask. If you're looking for multiple binders for gifts, giveaways, menus, really any reason, ask about our bulk discounts available. It applies to our entire line. So The bulk discounts start at minimum order quantity of 5, and they go up from there. It doesn't have to be 5 of the same thing. It's the total cart number. So if you get 1 of 5 things, that still counts. So definitely reach out to us, sales, S-A-L-E-S, at murdycreative.co to get information about the bulk discounts and to get that applied. We're working on it to be built automatically into the cart, but it's still a bit off. So definitely feel free to reach out to us if that applies to you at all. Same thing with custom engraving. We don't have any minimum order quantities for our custom logos, custom designs. So you can just get 1 of that, which is a great gift for those who have small businesses or artwork or anything like that around the holidays. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have a great day, and goodbye.